There's a ceremony.
Hey everybody, it's Victor, your G1 host at PopCon. A salute to all pop culture, but mostly the 80s. So, you know what I always say? Like I always say it. I need more Star Wars. You look on that play shelf behind me. Those toy shelves do not have much representation of Star Wars, and I'm a huge fan. As a Generation 1 host, I was there. I was there at the premiere of the original trilogy. Okay, I wasn't at the premiere. As a matter of fact, I didn't even see Star Wars in 1977 because I was just a bit too young. But my dad took me to the re-release in 1979 and I was hooked. I joined my older brothers in a love for Star Wars and got those action figures, got those play sets, even had the Death Star playset. Okay, it was my brother Kirk's, but I played with it more. And so I really love those. And I need to represent, because when you look at the toy shelves, I'm missing something, and that's what this is all about. Now, you can see that over my shoulder here, you can see a remote-controlled R2-D2, which I absolutely adore, controlling from an app, but I needed more. You know, Star Wars was awesome, but after Return of the Jedi, there was this huge break, and you didn't know if it was coming back. So a lot of other franchises that were made famous in the 80s really took over my passion, my enthusiasm, and love, but this never left. And now Star Wars is ever-present, omnipresent, and so I knew when I looked through, like, what was I going to collect? Because I'm just not going to grab willy-nilly whatever. I needed to pick something special. So when I look at the first three films, I always loved Act 1. Whether in Star Wars, it was the cantina scene at Mos Eisley on Tatooine, or in Empire Strikes Back, I loved Hoth with the Wampas and the Tauntauns and the AT-ATs. But it was Return of the Jedi when it was that culmination of, like, Jabba's palace and all those creatures and all the gang together. So that's why I picked this. This is the Star Wars Vintage Collection. No, it's not from the original, so it isn't the original Jabba's playset. It is the Vintage Collection, so we got Return of the Jedi, Jabba's Palace Adventure Set. And although it doesn't come with Jabba the Hutt, it does come with two characters, two action figures, and I'm excited to add to my toy shelf a little Star Wars love, and I'm glad you're here with me. If you like this content, you like me opening these, talking about these toys, talking about how important they are, and what I think about them, and adding them to my toy shelf, well then stick around. Subscribe, like, share, and all that other jazz. All right, let's open this baby up. At first sight, this box looked pretty boring. The title with a lot of different languages, but just a photograph of the playset and the action figure. But a closer look, there are three different photographs. One of Bausch coming in to free Han Solo, lowering the carbonite, then being surprised by Jabba and all of the creatures. We caught you, taking Han Solo away. And finally, the Gamorrean guard, along with Lando, taking Bausch away to move her into the Slave Leia outfit. This was a totally cool surprise of the package. Well, here we are with all of the pieces and the action figures. They're still in package. This backdrop, this set is beautiful. Look at these, the ventilation system, like the air handlers or something, the grate, and even this design work, which you remember from the film. The detail where the carbonite would hang has some computerized pieces there, as well as the heads of the creatures. Now the back is just a wash. Even that clumsy paint wash is very thematic. So there is a lever in the back for the carbonite to hang. We'll get to that in a minute. These two pieces of wall, these two basically these passageways, these arches can go in two different configurations on the side, and there's really simple instructions right here. They look very reminiscent of the originals from the 70s and 80s, but it shows you how you can put those walls up, either straight forward like kind of a box, or a wall straight outward, and also shows you how the carbonite Han Solo can hang. So let's also look that we come with the Return of the Jedi carded Han Solo in carbonite, so it comes with him outside of the carbonite. Now this is the vintage collection. At the time of this release, there was only these few examples that are cross-sold on the back. But the design of these cards looks so much like the original. Rhys here, the character from Jabba's Palace in Return of the Jedi, looks just like he did back in the day, but we'll open those in a minute. As for these arches with their really broken up look, you just kind of squeeze them, kind of tightly push them onto these tabs, again, either straight out or straight forward. Now I look at it that way as where Jabba released the curtain and was like laughing ho 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 when Princess Leia dressed as Bausch released Han Solo. So I may put it like this to give it a little more dimension. But right there in the back between those two heads on the wall is where Han Solo and carbonite would be. Really love this look. It's so pivotal for the movie when Jabba says, I don't want to get rid of my prized possession. All right, so speaking of the prized possession, this is Han Solo, and we just rip it open. I don't need to save this box. As wonderful as it is with the photo of him in carbonite, what I love about it, it is really to a T the imagery we remember from both the films, The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, how he came out frozen in carbonite, the side computers that kept him going, kept his life support. Now it hangs via magnet very easily, and if you look at him hanging in the magnet here, you can see now the magnet goes up. That's how you want it, so it looks like it floats, which very cool. Looks like a little levitation, like it did as it went into Slave 1 at the end of Empire Strikes Back. You push that down, and it kind of collapses to the ground just like that, so that Princess Leia as Boushh can start to disintegrate the carbonite and free Han of that. So there it goes, boom, down. There it is. So we're just going to want to hang it back up. So the magnet is great, the levitation is wonderful, and it looks good. Centerpiece, great piece of art, huh, for Jabba. Now inside, this is neat because they didn't have this in the original series of action figures, but this Star Wars vintage is Han Solo after he comes out of the carbonite. You know, he does sort of look depressed, or he looks kind of low and weak. There's so much articulation. So great design of him just wearing that plain white button-up kind of shirt as well as the brown pants with the yellow stripe, but he's got articulation everywhere. Not just in knee bend, but he actually can rotate at the knee. He can rotate sort of like at the whole shin. The feet as well have ankle joints, and there's of course the hip joints. So a lot of posing there. The waist also moves, so he can turn back and forth at his waist as well as at the ankles, go up and down, and rotation. So the rotation is pretty amazing. I didn't expect this of these figures. It just makes them all the more wonderful. Now, as for after his waist, you see his arms. They do up and down, front and back, full 360 circular, but they also rotate kind of at the forearm/elbow where they also bend at that joint. It is pretty incredible. They are designed for a weapon. This figure does not come with a weapon, which is fine. He shouldn't. As he comes out of the carbonite, he should just look ready to fall down in Leia's hands. So here I have him as he is released. You can kind of pretend that the carbonite has disintegrated, and that's sort of a concave. Now, what I did find out is you can actually just place it, turn it around, and look like he has been freed of the slab of carbonite. So other than that, just like to keep that floating above on its magnet. Now for the other character, this is Reehes, Reeyees, and he is one of the denizen of Jabba's creatures in both the palace as well as the giant sail barge. Now he comes with two weapons, one a little smaller than the other, and he's got some big hands, but great looking figure. The detail in his mold, just get rid of those packages right here. We go. All right. So similar articulation at the elbow, but also can turn at the wrists or those arms. His head up and down, side to side, which is great. So it's got a full range. His waist is really good. Like I said, same with the arm and the elbow and the hands of this character as Han. The only thing different that after the knee and the knee rotation is there is no articulation in the ankle. That was quite a surprise. Not like anything downplaying this action figure, but they don't have it, and that's okay. It doesn't hurt the action figure's look at all. Now he's got some really big maw. There's some big mitts, and he's got these two guns. One gun fits a little bit better in the other hand based on its just a little bit different mold. But anyway, it's kind of cool with him being a double blaster kind of villain here. Basically, villain, hero, gangster, bounty hunter, who knows, just an ugly guy. And he is there in Jabba's palace because he'll work for Jabba the Hutt, and he's not going to let Han Solo escape. This is a wonderful looking playset. It might look simple, but it's not. It's very detailed and looks the part. I give this whole thing with all of its design 2 big thumbs up. Get yourself this action figure playset. Relive Return of the Jedi. And now this.
Star Wars. You and your children loved it.
Now the Earthlings at Popcorn have asked my associate and me to humbly request you subscribe to this channel. Fantastic content is waiting. May the Force be with you.
Time to fill the popcorn toy shelves. So here it is in its blank spot. It won't be the final place. Here it is a little closer. This shelf is going to change, and there's going to be a lot of movement, but right now, got to place this playset somewhere, and although it looks a little funny hanging off the edge, that is not how it's going to look in its end result. Here we have Carbonite hanging up, magnetically levitating, and now we have Reehes and the escaping Han Solo in Jabba's palace. So much more to add to this. Love it. They look great up there, but you know what they're yelling for? More action figures. You know what, though? That doesn't actually make me sad at all. It doesn't make me upset. I need Jabba the Hutt and Boushh and Lando and even Luke, all from that moment of time. because I don't go crazy. I'm not a completist. I don't collect everything. I just set my mind on a scene, something that represents, and then I got to do it right. As with so many of the other characters, action figures, dolls, and other franchises that I collect. So very excited to have this up on my shelf. Jabba's Palace right there. Also, you'll notice a little change in my toy shelf, the way it's designed, the way it's structured to make some room. Because I got a few anthropomorphic cats on their way, and I have one coming up. So looking forward to that too. So watch me as I add to Jabba's Palace. Watch me add those Third Earth characters, and I hope you'll stick with me. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. And please comment and like and share. There's a lot more coming to you at PopCon. More than just toys. Just keep an eye out and enjoy. Until next time.